So, have you seen what Jaguar's been doing with their rebrand?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting some pretty strong reactions online.
Yeah, it's definitely stirring things up.
A lot of people aren't happy with it.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
like, do these controversial marketing campaigns actually work?
That's what we're looking at today.
Okay.
Using Jaguar as our starting point. But
All right.
we're going to look at some other brands that have tried this too, like Gillette and Nike.
Oh, yeah, they're good examples.
They both got a lot of backlash,
Yeah.
but had very different results.
Exactly. It shows, the risks and the rewards of this whole approach.
Okay, so let's go back to
Mhm.
Gillette's The Best Men Can Be campaign.
Right.
They were tackling toxic masculinity, which, well, it's a really important topic.
Yeah.
But it's also a sensitive one.
Absolutely. It definitely hit a nerve.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, it was the third most disliked video on YouTube with over 1.4 million dislikes.
1.4 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people who didn't like it. But here's the thing. P&G, which is Gillette's parent company, they said that sales basically stayed the same.
Yeah, that's true.
So even with all the dislikes, it didn't hurt their bottom line.
Right. And, even though the initial reaction was so negative, there's another side to that. Think about the media coverage they got.
Oh, yeah.
It was way more than a normal ad campaign would get.
So even though people were hitting that dislike button, they were still talking about it.
Yeah, they were sharing it. And Gillette was staying in the spotlight.
Exactly.
And there's one more interesting thing. Gillette actually managed to engage a younger audience.
Really?
Yeah. And, a lot of traditional brands have trouble connecting with that group.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe even with the controversy, they actually gained some new customers.
Customers who are more open to their message.
Right.
So maybe this idea that controversy can cut through all the noise and reach new people. Maybe there's something to that.
Maybe, but as we'll see with Nike, it's not as simple as just creating any kind of controversy.
Right. Context matters.
The message matters.
And the brand's image matters too.
Exactly. All those things play a big role in whether the strategy actually works.
Okay, let's talk about Nike's campaign with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
The football player who kneeled during the national anthem to protest racial injustice.
Right.
That campaign, like Gillette's, it caused a big backlash right away.
Definitely.
There were boycotts. People were burning their Nike clothes.
And the company's stock price dropped.
It seemed like they had really messed up.
Oh, yeah, it did.
But then the story takes a turn.
It does, yeah.
Their sales didn't just recover. They actually went up by 27%.
Wow, that's huge.
I know, right? And on top of that, they got something like $43 million worth of free publicity from all the media coverage.
That's amazing.
And their stock price.
Yeah.
It didn't just bounce back, it hit an all-time high.
Talk about a comeback story.
It really is. So what was different about Nike's approach? How come they were so successful when Gillette had such mixed results?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
And luckily, there's some research out there that looks at these two campaigns in detail and breaks down the similarities and differences.
That's great. One article I read pointed out that even with all the boycotts and outrage,
Right.
sales for both brands stayed strong.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It means that even though people were really angry, it didn't change their buying habits that much.
It's like they were so passionate about their position that they were willing to destroy their own stuff.
Right, but not stop buying from the brand.
It's strange.
Yeah, it shows you how complicated things are. When it comes to consumers and social issues,
It really does.
and both companies were accused of being woke just to make money,
Yeah, people said they were exploiting these issues.
just to boost their profits.
You're right.
And it makes you wonder, can brands really get involved in social issues and be seen as genuine?
Or are they always going to look opportunistic?
That's a tough spot for them. If they stay silent, they risk looking complicit. But if they speak up, they risk seeming inauthentic.
Yeah, it's like a catch-22.
It is. So to understand why Nike did better than Gillette, we need to dig into how they approach things differently.
Okay, good point. Well, one big difference is what each campaign focused on. Nike built their campaign around a specific person,
Okay.
Colin Kaepernick, right?
Right.
But Gillette was talking about a broader issue.
Toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
So maybe having that central figure,
Yeah.
like a real person who represents the message, maybe that made Nike's campaign stronger.
Could be. By using Kaepernick, Nike was able to connect with people's emotions.
Yeah, his story is powerful.
It is, His struggles, his courage, it all created a strong story.
And people connected with it.
Especially younger people who admire athletes
Yeah.
and their influence.
Gillette's message, it was about a real problem. But it didn't have that same personal connection.
Maybe not.
It was less relatable.
Yeah, and because Gillette was talking specifically to men, some people might have felt singled out.
Oh, like they were being attacked?
Yeah, or stereotyped.
It's like they wanted to start a discussion, but they ended up making people defensive.
Right, and remember the director of that Gillette ad?
Oh, yeah.
He got doxxed online.
Yeah, that's scary.
It shows how intense things can get online.
Especially when you're dealing with sensitive topics.
It really does.
It makes you realize that brands have to be really careful and think about how people might react.
Definitely.
So far, we've talked about campaigns that address serious social problems.
Yeah.
But not all controversial marketing is like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Some brands use humor to be controversial.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're just weird.
Right, like those old Spice ads with the guy on the horse.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Or the Dollar Shave Club video.
That one was hilarious.
Those campaigns were definitely memorable.
They were, and they weren't trying to make a statement about society or anything.
They just wanted to be funny.
And entertain people.
Exactly, and they were really successful.
They went viral.
Yeah, they spread all over social media.
And that helped them a lot.
Huge boost in sales.
And everyone knew about those brands.
And exactly.
So I guess the question is, what makes a controversial campaign work?
Yeah, what are the key factors?
What makes some sink and some swim?
Good question.
Based on what we've talked about, I think authenticity is really important.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Does the campaign feel genuine? Does it fit with the brand's values?
Absolutely.
Think about Nike and their "Just Do It" slogan.
Right.
They've always been about pushing limits, challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
So their Kaepernick campaign, it felt like a natural extension of that.
It did.
Like it was a true expression of who they are.
Yeah, it fit their brand identity.
Whereas Gillette, they're known for razors and shaving cream. So a message about toxic masculinity, it felt a little out of place.
Right, it wasn't as connected to their core brand.
And I bet that's part of why people reacted the way they did.
Probably.
Knowing your audience is also important.
It's huge.
Nike knew that their target audience, especially younger people, they were more likely to agree with Kaepernick.
And support his stance.
Yeah, they understood their audience's values.
And they tailored their campaign accordingly.
And it's not enough to just put out a controversial message.
Yep.
You have to tell a story that people will connect with.
Yeah. A narrative.
Something that has an emotional impact.
Exactly. Storytelling is so important, especially now when there's so much media out there.
So much noise.
You have to grab people's attention.
And make them feel something.
Otherwise, they'll just tune you out.
And timing and relevance are crucial too.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just jump on a trend because it's trendy. It has to feel natural.
It can't be forced.
Because people can tell when a brand is being insincere.
Exactly. Consumers are smart. They can see through it.
Yeah, they'll know if you're just trying to exploit an issue. To make a quick buck.
It has to be organic.
And it has to fit with the brand's values.
Right, that's key.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Jaguar.
All right.
What exactly did they do in their rebrand? What's making people so upset?
Well, from what I've seen, they completely changed their logo.
Oh, wow.
It's much more minimalist now.
Real?
Yeah, very modern look. And they've also shifted their message. There's a big emphasis on sustainability now.
Oh, okay.
And electric vehicles.
Well, those things seem to be pretty popular right now.
They are.
Especially electric cars.
Yeah, people are really focused on being eco-conscious these days.
So it makes sense.
You'd think so, right?
But it sounds like a lot of Jaguar's loyal customers aren't happy about these changes?
They're not.
Why is that?
I think it's because Jaguar has always had a certain image.
Yeah, luxury, performance.
Exactly.
Sense of history.
Right, and this rebrand, it kind of moves away from those traditional values.
I see. So it's alienating their core customers.
It seems that way.
So will this work out for Jaguar?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. Will this controversy help them? Or will it backfire?
Well, based on what we've learned today, there are a few things that could determine their success.
Okay, what are they?
First off, does this rebrand feel authentic to Jaguar's values?
Right, if people feel like it's genuine.
Yeah, like a real attempt to evolve.
All still staying true to their roots.
Exactly.
Then it might work.
It might.
But if it just seems like they're chasing trends, they could lose their loyal customers and not gain any new ones.
That's a real possibility.
It is. They need to figure out who they want to be.
And who they want to attract.
Right. What kind of image do they want to project?
Exactly. And another important factor is, Do they really understand their target audience?
Or they're trying to reach a new generation of buyers.
Yeah, people who are more eco-conscious and tech-savvy.
But are they risking their existing customer base to do that?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. And did they create a good story around this rebrand?
Yeah, a compelling narrative.
Have they explained why they're making these changes?
Right. How does this fit into the bigger story of Jaguar?
Or is it just a bunch of buzzwords
Sustainability, electrical.
without any real meaning behind them?
That's the key. They need to tell a story that resonates with people, that explains why this rebrand isn't a departure.
Right.
It's an evolution,
A natural step for a brand that's always been innovative.
a brand that pushes boundaries.
That sounds like Jaguar has a tough road ahead.
It does. They definitely have their work cut out for them.
But like we've seen with other brands, it's possible to turn that initial negativity into something positive.
It is, but it takes planning
Strategy.
and a deep understanding of your brand.
And your audience.
Absolutely.
It really does feel like a turning point for them.
It does, yeah. And it brings us back to that question we started with. Are these controversial campaigns really worth it?
It's hard to say. We've seen how brands like Nike, they can use controversy to get amazing results.
Yeah.
Boost their sales, improve their image.
Right.
But then there's Jaguar. It seems like they might be hurting their brand.
Yeah, there's always that risk.
It's a big gamble.
It is. There's no guarantee it'll work out.
So what's the lesson here? What can people learn from all of this?
I think the most important thing to remember is controversy isn't some magic solution.
It's not like a shortcut to success.
Exactly. It's a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, you can use it well or you can use it badly.
So it's not about being controversial just for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about using it strategically.
Knowing when it makes sense and when it doesn't.
So if you're a brand and you're thinking about doing this,
Yeah,
you really need to think it through.
for sure.
What's your message? Does it fit with who you are as a brand?
Your value.
Do you understand your audience?
Right. How are they going to react?
And are you prepared for the backlash?
Because you know it's going to come.
Especially if you're talking about something sensitive.
Yeah, people are going to have opinions.
And you have to be ready to deal with that.
Not just ignore it.
But really engage with people
Yeah, in a thoughtful way.
in an authentic way.
Because in the end, it's not just about getting attention. It's about building trust.
With your audience.
Yeah, strengthening that relationship.
That's a good point.
You know, it made me think about something else, too.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
As consumers, we have a lot of power these days.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Our choices matter.
What we buy, what we share, what we criticize.
All of it sends a message to brands.
So we're not just watching from the sidelines.
We're part of the game.
We're shaping the future of marketing.
Exactly. So the next time you see a campaign, that makes you feel something. Whether you love it or hate it,
Yeah.
don't just let it go. Think about why you feel that way.
Does it line up with your values?
Does it make you want to support that brand?
Or avoid them?
And then do something about it.
Okay.
Vote with your wallet.
Or start a conversation.
Share your thoughts.
Because that's how we can make a difference.
yes, consumers,
We can influence how brands behave
encourage them to do the right thing.
and hold them accountable.
Exactly.
That's a powerful idea. We're not just consumers, we're citizens.
right?
And our choices have an impact.
They really do.
So to wrap it all up,
Yeah,
these controversial campaigns, they can be really effective,
they can.
but they're also risky.
Definitely a gamble.
And both brands and consumers, we need to be thoughtful, responsible.
And maybe have a little fun along the way.
That's a good way to put it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Into the world of controversial marketing.
I'll see you next time.
See ya.